According to the Continuums of Care, over 25,000 people experienced homelessness in 2019 on any given day in Texas. Of that total, about 3,000 were chronically homeless.
I'm homeless. I live in the woods. I usually go to a couple of the resources where I can get food or other things like that.
Today I'm doing laundry. Luckily, I have a voucher that was given to me by ODB, which is a nonprofit that meets or provides so many services to the homeless in this community of Denton.
Lerner and Bethany rely on resources from programs like Our Daily Bread to get them through an already stressful time. But they still face a common obstacle that has only been amplified during the pandemic.
So there are people dying from COVID. That's a real thing. What's not real is the wait times that they're creating. It's a type of tyranny. The fact that I cannot get an ID or an appointment to even talk to them about my ID until January 19th, and I have to be homeless and without work until then, is absolutely insane.
My ID was stolen, so at this point I can't really get a job very easily without, an identification.
Getting an ID as a homeless person is difficult enough without the added stress of COVID-19 restrictions.
So our case managers will sit with our guest and try to gather things together for them. If they're born here and locally, it's pretty easy, but it's when you have someone who's from Arkansas or Nebraska where you're having to trace down a birth certificate, get a new social security card, just other forms of identification to allow them to get a state ID. And those are a little bit harder to do.
Santos says Our Daily Bread helps people declare homelessness so they can use their organization's address to get one step closer to getting an ID.
We don't just supply a meal for the day. We try to encumber everything that's required for someone to feel good about themselves and to be able to go and not have to be struggling in one spot. So if it's just getting an ID to help them get to the next point, then we can do that.
Our Daily Bread has partnered with Monsignor King Outreach Center to support the homeless community with basic necessities like shelter, food, and clothing.
I'm glad that I was able to find that service because it is a huge weight load, even though it's half a week, and they are going to open soon, I think 5 days at least, starting after Thanksgiving, which is appropriate. Thankful heart right here.
Because of organizations like Our Daily Bread, a warm meal and a helping hand go a long way in helping the homeless community confidently re-enter society. Reporting for NTTV News, I'm Laura Nunez.